Hello, today we shall learn the concept of cleaning. So let us begin with this. In mechanical cleaning, usually only the particles on the surface of the flock can be removed. This we have already seen earlier. For cleaning, it is necessary to give an opportunity to the trash particles to separate from the flocks. Cleaning may be achieved by either suction, combing, use of centrifugal force, scraping, or by striking and beating off rapidly accelerated flocks that are picked on grid bars. So let us look at each one of them one by one. So if we are using suction for cleaning, suction is more useful for dust removal and less suited for coarse particle elimination. So in the diagram, we can see here just a representative diagram. This is a filter and these are the fiber flocks which are in red, whereas dust is in yellow over here. So if the filter has got small openings which are smaller than the fiber flocks, then the fiber flocks won't pass through and dust can easily be sucked out. So this is the way suction might be used for cleaning, but as already mentioned, it is more useful for dust rather than coarse particles. The transport air is passed across filters or perforated sheets. The small dust particles that have been released during the process pass through along with the air and the flocks remain behind. Due to stricter laws on the dust concentration in the air of blow room, as well as the sensitivity of some spinning systems like rotor to dust, so because of these two reasons, machine manufacturers offer dust removing machines and equipment operating with perforated surfaces with suction. These may be installed in the blow room. But such machines are only able to clean the surface of the flocks again that rest on the perforated surfaces of the machine. It is also important that the released dust is immediately sucked away before it gets an opportunity to go back into the fiber flocks. So whatever dust is sucked out, it must be immediately taken care of. Otherwise, there is a tendency for this dust particles to again get mixed up with the fiber flocks. Now let us look at the second method or the way of cleaning. Could be some machines might have combing for cleaning. Combing is the only form of mechanical cleaning in which the impurities are drawn out of the inner regions in addition to the surface impurities. So in the earlier discussion, we said that in case of mechanical cleaning, only the impurities from the surface can be removed very easily. But combing is the only form of mechanical cleaning where if at all the impurities are in the inner regions, then they can be removed in addition to the surface impurities. So for this kind of an cleaning by combing, we would require some opener or roller like this, which has got pins on it. In combing, the combing needles pass through the flocks to draw out the impurities that are embedded within. So another method that could be used for cleaning is centrifugal force. In this method of elimination of impurities, it is not suitable for small particles. So let us see what it is. If this is a diagram showing how that material or how this particular concept is used here. Here we can see air carrying fibers and impurities enters the machine, and we can see here direction altered by more than 90 degrees. So suddenly there is a turn which is given to this mixture of fibers and impurities, and at the same time there is some acceleration given, some push is given from this opening here. So accelerated material is suddenly made to uh, take a turn which is more than 90 degrees. So in that case what happens is the heavier impurities cannot change the direction so suddenly and therefore flow into the waste box due to inertia, because it just cannot change the direction so very suddenly. They will be just moving straight, and there, if there is an opening here, they would straight go into the trash box. Whereas the fiber flocks which are lighter as compared to the trash particles, they will be able to take this sharp turn here, and they can be easily removed as flocks. So as earlier mentioned, for this the main condition is that the impurities must be heavier. Only in that case it can, this particular method of cleaning can be used. So therefore it was said that this is suitable for, it is not suitable for small particles. Only large heavy particles can easily be removed in this manner. Here the air carrying the fibers and the impurities is accelerated and suddenly made to take a turn of say 90 degrees. The flocks being lighter are able to follow the new diversion easily, but the heavier impurities follow the straight path and flow right through the slot in the duct into the waste box. As the size of the impurities have become smaller and smaller, this method of waste elimination is no longer used in the blow room. So we have seen in our earlier lecture the modern bale opener or the machines that are a few of them in the bale opening section or the zone 1 of the blow room, where the modern machines are able to make the small flock so small that most of the impurities would be easily removed during the first few stages of the blow room line. So since the impurities, even the size of it has become smaller and smaller because of mechanical picking and at the field itself, when the cotton is picked, the impurities tend to have a smaller size. So it becomes largely difficult here to remove any kind of impurities using this method, because this method would work only if the impurities are heavier. So nowadays this particular method is no longer used. That is what is being mentioned here, but it is used in the card where the fibers are individualized. The impurities are thrown into the flats and the lighter fibers are retained by the cylinder clothing. Whenever we study card in the coming lectures, we will try to understand this particular concept. So with this we come to another method of cleaning, that is the scraping. Impurities may be scraped off when they are guided over the machine components, grid bars, mote knives, or even over other fibers. So whenever this friction or scraping off takes place, that is a time when the impurities are released. This is possible due to the friction between the fiber and these elements. So normally there would be something like a roller or a beater like this with blades on it, which we have seen earlier in one of our lectures, where we have seen the various components of blow room. So we may have maybe a roller like this with blades on it, and it would be rotating say in the anti-clockwise direction. Then scraping is a concept where there are say A here is the grid bars, and the mote knives is something like this, which is shown here. We shall study this a little bit detail in our coming slides. So the whatever mixture of fiber and impurities that is fed into this particular at this roller stage, the material will go over this grid bars or over these mote knives, either or both, if whatever, depending on the construction of the machine, and they will be made to scrape themselves, or the entire mixture will scrape itself over these particular grid bars. And because of this pointed section of these grid bars, what happens is the impurities are released, they are loosened out, and there are gaps between these bars, and the impurities will just fall down into the trash box. And this is how scraping is used for cleaning. Grid can be made of perforated sheets. Now this grid that is there, it can be either perforated sheets, normal sheets with holes in it, or it could be consisting of slotted sheets or bars with edges arranged one after the other. So it can be either this way, or it can be a perforated sheets below the roller. So this is another roller Kirschner beater as we know it, three-bladed Kirschner beater, where we are seeing the feed is from the right hand side and the material goes like this. Now here the roller is rotating in the clockwise direction, and the material would be moving in the clockwise direction over the grid bars. Here again we can see the grid bars below the roller. So these grid bars help as a cleaning device, where the impurities will just release themselves from the flock due to scraping, and they will fall below in the trash box. The grid encircles at least 1/4 to 3/4 circumference of the opening assembly. So as we can see, the opening assembly, whatever roller is there, below it, it will encircle up to 1/4 to 3/4 also at times circumference of this entire roller it will cover. So now let us look at striking for cleaning. It is almost similar to scraping. The same elements are involved, but here more than just dragging the fibers over the grid bars, it is more of striking it or throwing it onto the grid bars. So striking of the cotton fibers against grid bars is carried out by pins on the roller. So the pins that we saw on the roller earlier, they would be striking or throwing this mixture of fiber and impurities on the grid bars, and the repeated collisions of the flocks against the grid bars causes the trash particles to fall out. So scraping and striking, one can say that they are simultaneous actions that are taking place together. And in the beating operation, the flocks are subjected to a sudden strong blow by the ruler. The impurities, because of their small size, pass between the grid bars into the waste box, while the flocks continue rotating around the beater. So now we have heard a lot about grid bars that are there below the rollers. So now let us go a little bit deeper into the grid bar and the settings and the types of grid bars that are available. So the first one is slotted sheets, which has got poor cleaning, and also perforated sheets. Both of them would give you a poor cleaning effect, and they look like this. Either it could be a sheet with holes on it, or it could be a sheet with slots in it, which is shown as A here, and B perforated sheets. So the next type of grid bar would be triangular section bars. These are mostly used normally at most of the places. So these are bars having a triangular cross section. They are placed one after the other below the rotor. This is the cross section of the grid bars that is shown. And then one can have angle bars. They are somewhat weak in the construction, that is shown at D here. And then one can have a slight variation here, which are blades. They are much stronger than the angle bars. They are strong and effective also. So it is simply blades with a pointed top, and this is the cross section of this particular blade. So you can have any one of these types anywhere below the rollers in the blow room, as well as card, which we shall see later on. So let us come to the grid bar adjustment now. So width of the gaps between the bars can be adjusted, which is shown here. A would be called as a closed way of having these grid bars, and B is open. One can see easily that the spacing between the grid bars has increased, and this is normally done. The second B is opted if the material is quite trashy, and A would be a closed, probably one where there is lesser trash, maybe somewhere if it is a man-made fiber that you're processing, maybe the grid bars would be placed like this more closely to each other, so that there is no trash and we do not lose fibers in the waste box. So coming to the second kind of setting that one can have in the grid bar is the setting angle relative to the beater envelope. So if the beater, we can imagine it is somewhere here above the grid bars, then in that case one can see the difference between B and C, where B is presenting a flatter surface to the roller, which is there, which should be there at above it, whereas C, we have just changed the angle and now it is showing a pointed profile, or showing, or it is giving a pointed profile towards the roller that is above it. So there is a third setting that can be changed here in case of a grid bar: distance of the complete grid from the beater. That means this particular distance shown here, this is the, if this is the beater, then this distance also could be changed. So one can see here the grid bars can be turned around its center over here, yellow circle that is shown. It can be turned, the angle can be changed very easily. So with this, let us see closely how this striking or scraping for cleaning is being used in many of the machines that shall follow in the blow room. So, so this is the roller, and these are the grid bars that are there, which we just talked about below the roller. And one can see the dust is falling in between the grid bars. You can see the angle changing, and what we are seeing here is a quantity of waste. As soon as you change the grid angle, cleaning intensity has increased. We can observe the more amount of trash that is being released here. So we can see these are the waste particles, the percentage. You can increase the speed of the roller also, and waste removed will also change. This is the collector, and intermittently it will rotate and release the dust and whatever trash it has released, and it will be sucked out. So Vario set, this was a return machine, so they have something called as a Vario set, which automatically adjusts to different types of material that one feeds to this particular machine. So with this, let us see the influence of the grid bar. The grid has a major influence on the cleaning effect due to one is the cross section of the bar. So because the cross section, if we can change, then it will have a major influence on the cleaning. Also the grasping effect of the edges of the polygonal bars, one can have different shapes, and the grasping effect of these edges would influence cleaning. The setting angle we have already seen. If we change the angle relative to the opening elements, then in that case again we can see a difference in the cleaning that is happening. Also the width of the gaps between the bars can be changed, and the overall surface area of the grid, as we had earlier mentioned, it can cover the surface like 1/4 to 3/4. So more the area that it covers, more will be the trash that is removed. So with this, let us see something called as a cleaning index or cleaning efficiency. How do we know that a particular machine has achieved whatever cleaning it had to achieve in that particular position in the blue room line? So one can test it by getting the data on trash material in the feed material, and also the trash material that is in the delivered material. So for example, if there is a machine which is supposed to clean, we can always find out whatever trash is there. We can find out trash percentage that is there in the material which is being fed by using an instrument known as Shirley analyzer, and then getting the trash content from it, we can put that figure here which is in percentage. Also one can easily take the output material from that machine, check how much trash is remaining still after the processing has been done. That again one can analyze using the Shirley analyzer, and put that figure over here, divided by trash percentage in the material fed, multiply by 100 would give you the cleaning index. So we can easily see if the numerator, if this trash in the material delivered is very less, in that case, if it is very less, say let us go to an extreme case that the machine has been able to remove all the trash that was being fed to it in the through the material, then in that case this figure would become 0, and one can easily see that this cleaning index would be 100. On the other hand, if the trash in the material fed and as well as the delivered is same, in that case this would give, the numerator would become 0 and cleaning index would be 0. That means the machine has been extremely inefficient in removing any kind of trash. So higher the cleaning index, better is the efficiency of the machine to eliminate the trash, or the cleaning is better. So with this background, the cleaning efficiency is dependent on, there are a few factors uh, which we should know, on which the cleaning efficiency or the index depends. Because even if the trash content sometimes is same in two kinds of material, even in that case, and if we were to process this material through a machine, through the same kind of machine also, in that case also one would find cleaning indices are different for different materials. So what are the factors that this cleaning efficiency would actually depend on? The first factor would be the dirt content. So the amount of trash percentage in the feed material also affects cleaning efficiency. The particle size will also decide how much cleaning can be done by the particular machine in question, as well as the adhesion of the dirt to the fibers also decides cleaning efficiency to a certain extent. So therefore, for the same trash content in two different fibers, one might be easily cleaned and the other might be difficult to clean. So this concept, which was tried to, it was put in words. This was called as a cleaning resistance, or how much the material resists itself to cleaning. So cleaning is difficult if the impurities are widely distributed amongst the fibers. Also, if the fibers are damp, and even if the material throughput is high, or if you feed a thick sheet, then again the cleaning becomes difficult. So some of the other factors that decide the difficulty in cleaning are all these, like fibers being damp, or if the production of the machine is too high, it is not able to handle, or if the fed sheet is too thick, or even if the impurities are very widely distributed amongst the fibers. So with this understanding, let us see particle size. So the effect of particle size on cleaning: larger the dirt particles, easier is their removal. So if the dirt particle is bigger in size, it is easier to remove. Once it gets pulverized or it becomes smaller in size, then it becomes more difficult to clean it. Also, every addition of the machine may lead to shattering of the dirt particles. We must understand that whenever we add an extra machine into the blow room, which may or may not be required, we must understand that it will lead to the breaking of the dirt particles, and hence dirt must be eliminated as early as possible in the blow room line, because if they become small, then it, as we have seen, it becomes difficult to remove. So the earlier it is removed in the blow room line, the better it is. So it also leads to additional stress on the fibers. So we must also understand that any addition of machine in the blow room line would lead to additional stress on the fibers. So using optimal number of machines is therefore advisable from the point of view of quality as well as economy. So both from the point of view of quality of the material, because we do not want to overstress the fibers by just adding the machines without any real use in the blow room line, and at the same time adding of the machine will also cost us to that extent, and therefore from the point of view of economy also, it is advisable not to use extra machines in the blow room line. So effect of a degree of opening on cleaning. Opening must be followed immediately by cleaning. This concept we have seen in opening. The moment it is opened, if we are not able to clean it, then there is a possibility that the same trash what we have been successful in removing might again get mixed up with the material and it becomes difficult to remove. So if possible, both these actions must take place on the same machine. If not, it should be immediately, opening must always be immediately followed by cleaning. The opening device should become continually finer within the blow room line. So this also we must understand that to create new surfaces, to open out the material further along the line, the devices must use the pins or whatever devices they are using for cleaning must become finer and finer as we go along the blow room line. So if you observe the construction of the machines, one will see that in initial stages, the pins or that are used on the devices, say roller here, the pins would be more coarser, the spacing would be larger, and the point density that would be very low in the beginning. And as you proceed along the line, as you go along and use more and more machines, then in that case one must see to it that the it is useful, and therefore the pins must become finer, as well as the spacing becomes closer between the 2 points. And therefore once a machine is constructed for a definite purpose with mind, whether it is used for cleaning fine particles along the line or coarse particles in the beginning of the blow room line, we must understand that the position of each machine becomes fixed. So once a machine is made for a particular position, say zone 2 or zone 4 or zone 5 or 6 maybe, in that case the position of that particular machine must not be changed. Uh, just to elaborate on this, one can say if you take a machine with finer pins and put it by mistake somewhere in the beginning of the blow room line, then it might tend to damage the fibers, and again that is not acceptable. On the other hand, if we take a machine with coarser pins and put it at the end of the blow room line, then it will prove useless, because already the material would have gone through various machines and the flock size would have reduced, and such a machine with coarse pinpoints on the roller of that particular machine would become useless in that final position of the blow room line. So the conclusion or the observation here is that each machine is meant for a particular position. One cannot just switch them from zone to zone. Opening and cleaning using one single machine is very difficult due to the need for continuous improvement in the opening. We have seen in the concept of opening that continuous improvement in opening regarding opening up new surfaces, and also by increasing the volume of the particular flock, has to happen from machine to machine. And because of this, having both opening and cleaning in one single machine, or replacing the entire blow room line with one single machine, becomes very difficult. It is not possible. So one must understand that the degree of cleaning is linearly dependent on a degree of opening. So another point that we have already talked about is that the more the opening, the better is the cleaning. So it is proportionally or linearly dependent on the degree of opening. A high degree of opening in the blow room facilitates cleaning at the card. So we must understand carding follows blow room. So if blow room has been able to do a good job by having a high degree of opening of the material, then it will become easier for the card to carry out its functions at a later stage, where it will do fiber to fiber separation. So if the flocks fed to the card are small enough, then the card will be able to do a better job of removing almost 100% of the impurities. Also, if the degree of opening is too low, then in that case, sometimes the card tends to break the fibers, and so it is advisable from that point of view also that a high degree of opening would reduce shortening of the staple at the card. So blow room stage itself, we should see that we have a good kind amount of opening. So parameters that affect opening and cleaning, both machine and material parameters that would affect opening is that higher roller speeds with narrow settings between the roller and the feed devices results in better opening and cleaning, but also leads to more stress on the fibers. So having a higher roller speed, we have seen in the video that it leads to higher opening and cleaning. Also a narrower setting between maybe the grid bars, the feed device and the roller, one could achieve better opening and cleaning or a higher level, but at the same time one must remember that it will also lead to a lot of stress on the fibers. So if we want a gentle kind of, we do not want the fibers to get stressed, or the fibers that we are processing are delicate in nature, so one must see to it that the roller speeds are lower, also the settings a little bit wider, so as to accommodate the fibers that could be delicate. So depending on the fibers that we are going to process, one needs to change these parameters on the machine. Also, above a certain optimum roller speed, no improvement in the elimination is achieved. So one cannot say that linearly it goes on increasing. So higher roller speeds would always lead to higher cleaning, because after a certain level, any increase in roller speed will lead to no improvement in elimination, but definitely it will lead to an increase in the stress on the fibers. So and also the fiber loss. So one must be very careful when we use this parameter for getting a higher efficiency in opening and cleaning. So feeding of flocks in the clamped conditions gives intensive clean opening, but not a gentle one. So clamped condition, in the sense, we have seen the feeding devices that earlier, and we have also seen there can be an option where we are feeding the material in open as open material, open flight or free flight. So when we are having these kinds of clamped condition, the opening will become very intensive, but definitely it's not a gentle one. While feeding of flocks in loose condition gives a gentle but not very intensive opening. So we must even take care of that, that if we are giving feeding the flocks in loose condition, then although it will be a very gentle treatment to the fibers, but it will definitely not be an intensive opening. So open flocks must be spherical in shape as far as possible. If the machine is giving long flocks, then in that case, that is the shape of the flock, then in that case it tends to entangle during the rolling movements and during a pneumatic transport, and it will form neps. We have already seen what neps are. Neps are nothing but small entanglements of fibers in the form of a ball, which can only be detected at the somewhere near the end of weaving, or maybe during dyeing also at times, where it will tend to absorb more dye and show as small little specks of balls on the fabric, and that is not acceptable from the quality point of view of the fabric. So it should be taken care of right in the beginning, maybe even at the blow room as well as the card stage. So then what are the limitations to cleaning? A high cleaning is always accompanied by high fiber loss. We must understand this. So if we are going after getting a high cleaning, then we must also know we are going to get high fiber loss. So the always it should be a compromise between the two things. If we do not want to lose fibers, the cleaning that we need to achieve should be optimum enough, and we should not go higher than that. In cases where there's a possibility of high fiber loss, it must be majorly done by the card. So if at all one finds that there is going to be a high fiber loss, then it's better not to do it at blow room stage. High degree of cleaning, it's better to have it on the card, because there one can hope to save some fibers. In case of waste recycling installation in use, suppose our blow room line has got waste recycling installation. In that case, one can give it is acceptable that if there is a slightly higher percentage of waste, it can be acceptable, because during recycling we'll be again recovering those fibers back into the system. So with this, we will again revise the blow room zones, because the coming lecture will be going stage wise. Once we have understood the opening concept and the cleaning concept, the main function of the blow room is to open and clean, and also blending, as well as even feed to the card. So let us again revise the 6 zones that we have roughly divided the blow room into. So the first zone being the machines for bale opening. Since it was basically the stress was on opening, we have already covered the bale opening machines that were involved for opening the bale. Now we have just now learned the concept of cleaning. So now we are ready to learn the machines that are involved in this zone, that is coarse cleaning, as well as the machines that are involved here, intermediate cleaning, as well as machines for fine cleaning. The machines for blending, we will have to learn a little bit more on the concept of blending, which shall come later. Then we can go for machines for card feeding. That is how we can feed even material to the card, how it was done in a conventional way, and in the modern method, how it is done. So once we complete this, that is how we will be completing the entire blow room, by learning them in parts in 6 different zones that are just mentioned. So with this, we come to the end of this lecture. Thank you.